Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
New activation and upfront payment for 3-month plan required. Taxes and fees extra. Additional restrictions apply. See mintmobile.com for full terms.
On today's Smart 7, Rishi says he's on it, Chris Whitty faces the COVID inquiry, and lots more. It's Friday the 23rd of June, it's National Take Your Dog to Work Day, and a happy birthday to Katie Tunstall.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Thursday saw the Bank of England raise the base rate of interest by another half point to 5%, bringing borrowing costs to their highest level in more than 15 years. It's the 13th rise in a row and comes after ONS figures released on Wednesday showed inflation remained stubbornly high at the same 8.7% as May. But Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says there's nothing to worry about.
I'm here to tell you that I am totally 100% on it, and it is going to be okay, and we are going to get through this. And that is the most important thing I wanted to let you know.
He was speaking on an extremely awkward Twitter live stream from an IKEA in Kent, and immediately after his speech the word patronising began to trend on social media. Meanwhile, Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey says the economy is doing better than expected despite inflation remaining well over the 2% target. He also said people should stop asking for wage increases to keep up with the soaring rates.
We've got to get, and we will get, inflation back to its target. To do that, we cannot continue to have the current level of wage increases, and we can't have companies seeking to rebuild profit margins, which means prices continue to go up at their current rates.
Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves says Labour would tackle inflation very differently.
The best thing that government can do, and what I would be doing as Chancellor, is providing that economic stability and not undermining the independent economic institutions.
Day 8 of the COVID inquiry came to a close on Thursday. It's investigating the government's response to the pandemic, and the first 6 weeks of public hearings are focused on preparedness. Thursday saw two big names and familiar faces step up to give evidence. England's Chief Medical Officer, Sir Chris Whitty, and Chief Scientific Advisor, Sir Patrick Vallance. Sir Chris says more could have been done in advance to prevent the spread.
We did not give sufficient thought to what we could do to stop a pandemic on the scale of COVID, or indeed any other pathogen that could realistically go there. I do think, on the other hand, it is sensible to have a plan for if everything fails, what are we going to do?
And as Tory MPs continue to face questions over where they were for the Partygate vote, Leader of the House Penny Mordaunt, yes, she of the Coronation Sword, was picking up praise from an unusual source. With 200 Tory MPs missing in action, including the PM, Labour's shadow Leader of the House, Thangam Debonair, was impressed by how smoothly the vote went.
It must have been difficult for the leader. No Prime Minister to rally the troops, and a roll call of Johnson's sycophants behind her. I'm afraid to say that the leader looked a Tory version of Greta Garbo, Mr. Speaker, glamorous, but all alone.
Thursday brought some unnerving news from Ukraine, less than 3 weeks after a major dam collapse which caused catastrophic flooding in the south of the country. It's thought another attack could be imminent. There's growing evidence Russia was responsible for the breach of the Kharkovka dam, and now Ukrainian intelligence believes Moscow could be plotting to stage a nuclear attack on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant, although the Kremlin is denying it. Here's Ukrainian President Zelensky making the announcement.
We have just had a report from our intelligence and security service about the terrorist attack at the hydroelectric power plant that took place, and another terrorist attack, which unfortunately is being prepared by the Russian occupiers at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant.
And the director of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, says the impact of a nuclear attack would devastate more than just Ukraine.
The idea here to be preserved is the nuclear safety of the plant, because if there is something there, no one will be spared.
The world was waiting for a miracle, but it wasn't to be. Thursday saw confirmation that all 5 occupants of the missing Titan submersible are dead after debris belonging to the deep-sea craft was found on the ocean floor. The submersible lost communication on Sunday morning, less than 2 hours into a dive to view the wreckage of the Titanic. What followed was a 4-day search of the North Atlantic, spanning an area of more than 10,000 square miles. But Thursday's discovery brought the news no one wanted. The submersible likely imploded during its descent, killing everyone on board instantly. Rear Admiral John Major from the US Coast Guard made the announcement at a press conference.
The debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command, I offer my deepest condolences to the families.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Frankie Dettori's fairy tale farewell at Royal Ascot, and Glastonbury gets going. Right after this.
Hello, listener. This is Chris and Rosie Ramsey here, hosts of Shagged, Married, Annoyed on Acast.
Now, if you're an advertiser that's looking to cut through the noise, then look no further than Acast.
Yes, Acast makes room for your brand to be heard with podcast advertising. Home to over a staggering 92,000 podcasts, including our own, you can reach the perfect audience for your brand across every single listening app.
And with 95% of listeners taking action as a result of podcast advertising, it genuinely works.
It really does work. Most of my purchases come from adverts I've heard on podcasts.
That is so true.
Genuinely. Businesses of any size can get started with podcast ads in minutes with Acast's easy-to-use self-serve platform.
So if you are ready to be heard, visit go.acast.com/advertise.
That's go.acast.com/advertise. I like to say it last.
Welcome back.
Frankie Dettori pulled off the perfect ending to his Royal Ascot career on Thursday with his 9th Gold Cup win. The Italian jockey was riding 4-year-old Courage Mon Ami, who on only his 5th lifetime start managed to beat the anti-post favourite Coltrane to victory. Frankie's due to retire from riding at the end of the year, and it sounds like his Ascot finale couldn't have gone any better.
Unbelievable! I thought it was a bridge too far from handicaps to Group 1, but I had the perfect race. Listen to that.
Did you think you'd win it?
No, I thought it was going to come back. In fairness, he's still a baby, so when the Coltrane came back, he picked up again.
She's won a Golden Globe, an Emmy and a Screen Actors Guild Award for her performance as Tanya McCoy in The White Lotus, but it turns out Jennifer Coolidge nearly passed on the role altogether. The American Pie actress joined The Hollywood Reporter earlier this week for a roundtable discussion with fellow TV stars including Dominic Fishback, Jennifer Garner and Emma Darcy. And she's revealed that if it wasn't for her best friend, she probably would have talked herself out of a dream role.
You know, I still wasn't going to do it. And I think this happens to actresses a lot. I think sometimes you sit around and bitch your whole life that you've never been given the role of your dreams. And then when it comes, you're like, yeah, I can't do it. I mean, I ate a bunch of pizzas and another time, you know.
It's that time of year again. The worthy farm gates have opened and the Glastonbury Festival has kicked off. It'll be running until Sunday and this year's lineup is incredible, with Elton John, Arctic Monkeys, Lewis Capaldi and Guns N' Roses all scheduled to perform. We sent our very own Jamie East down to soak up the atmosphere. So what's been happening, Jamie?
Hey Mike, it's Jamie here. It is Thursday night, it's midnight at Glastonbury. The atmosphere is electric. Rumours are that the Arctic Monkeys are still going to be performing despite cancelling a couple of warm-up shows, and I can confirm the Foo Fighters are playing the Pyramid stage under the name The Churn-Ups on a Saturday night. It's going to be brilliant. Glastonbury's here. Have a great show, Mike. Don't be too good.
Behave yourself, Jamie. Be a good boy.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Hello, listener. This is Chris and Rosie Ramsey here, hosts of Shagged, Married, Annoyed on Acast.
Now, if you're an advertiser that's looking to cut through the noise, then look no further than Acast.
Yes, Acast makes room for your brand to be heard with podcast advertising. Home to over a staggering 92,000 podcasts, including our own, you can reach the perfect audience for your brand across every single listening app.
And with 95% of listeners taking action as a result of podcast advertising, it genuinely works.
It really does work. Most of my purchases come from adverts I've heard on podcasts.
That is so true.
Genuinely. Businesses of any size can get started with podcast ads in minutes with Acast's easy-to-use self-serve platform.
So if you are ready to be heard, visit go.acast.com/advertise.
That's go.acast.com/advertise. I like to say it last.